According to an RCN case study, there was this nurse who was dismissed from his workplace simply because he refused to sign a contract different from what he had originally signed before moving to the UK. There are several nurses who are working at toxic workplaces and wish to resign, but one major thing that is holding them back is payment clauses in their contract. That states that if you leave before the end of your contract, you will have to reimburse your employer. In most cases, the employers put some ridiculous amount there as high as £10,000. That way, you will be compelled to stay to the end of your contract. If you are an international recruited nurse or health and social care worker considering resigning from your job, but you are worried about your employer demanding repayment of recruitment costs, this video is for you. Many employers try to recover costs when employee leaves early, but there are certain expenses they legally cannot reclaim from you. Stay tuned as I break down 5 costs your employer cannot demand from you so you know your rights before making any decisions. My name is Bright Agbenyo, and on this channel, I talk about personal finance, personal development, career growth, entrepreneurship insights, and scholarship opportunities to study abroad. If any of this interests you, then do well to like this video. Speaking of scholarships, let me introduce you to today's sponsor, UNICAF. UNICAF partners with accredited universities in the UK to offer generous scholarships, allowing you to study completely online. Whether you are looking for a top-up nursing degree, BSc in education, a master's, or even a PhD, UNICAF has got you covered. Find the link in the description below to register, or you can visit www.brightagbenyo.com/links. and you will find the registration link over there to apply for this amazing scholarship. Now let's come back to today's video. What do you need to know? As you may already know, before any employer recruits you from overseas, they bear some costs such as visa fees, COS fees, flight, and stuff like that. In many cases, you are compelled to work with this employer for 2 years, 3 years, and even 5 years depending on what is stated in your contract. That is why it is very important to read the employment contract carefully before you append your signature. Let's say your contract states you must work for 3 years. If you leave the work before the 3 years, the employer can ask you to reimburse the costs related with your employment. Now, which of the costs can they recoup from you? I will be referring to the UK government guidelines for international recruitment. That is the Code of Conduct or Code of Practice for International Recruitment. I will put a link to this document in the description below so you can go read about it for yourself. Also, I'll be inserting screenshots on the screen to show you which aspects of the document I am reading from. According to the UK government guidelines, certain costs must be covered by the employer as part of the recruitment process. These costs cannot be passed on to you, and you are not obligated to pay them back. So let's look at these 5 costs your employer cannot reclaim from you. Number 1 is agency fee. Many internationally recruited nurses and healthcare workers are hired through recruitment agencies. These agencies charge employees a fee for sourcing, screening, and processing candidates. Legally, your employer cannot ask you to reimburse this fee, even if you leave early. Number 2 is immigration skills charge. The immigration skills charge is a fee that UK employers must pay when they sponsor a foreign worker. This is a government-mandated charge that your employer is responsible for paying. Even if you resign before your contract ends, your employer cannot transfer these costs to you. Number 3 is sponsor license fee. To hire international workers, employers need a sponsor license issued by the UK Home Office. This license costs thousands of pounds depending on the company size, but it is 100% the employer's responsibility. They cannot ask you to pay for this fee or reclaim it from your salary. Number 4 is certificate of sponsorship fee. Before issuing a worker a visa, an employer must provide a certificate of sponsorship, COS, which also comes with a cost. This is another employer-paid expense that they cannot ask you to refund. If you decide to leave before your contract ends, they cannot deduct this fee from your final paycheck or demand a repayment. Cost of the interview process. Some employers may incur expenses during the interview process, such as travel costs for recruiters, assessment center fees, online text expenses. Regardless of these costs, they are part of the employer's hiring process and cannot be transferred to you. Now let's take note of some important things. Employers can only reclaim costs that were explicitly agreed upon in writing as part of your contract. Any repayment plan must not include interest or additional penalties. If you are considering leaving your job, don't let the fear of repayment stop you from making the best decision for your career. Know your rights, review your contract, and don't pay for costs you are not responsible for. Have you or someone you know experienced an employer trying to reclaim recruitment costs? Drop a comment below and share your experience. If you are also in the middle of this situation and you don't know where to get help from, try and reach out to your union. This means that if you are not registered with any union, do well to register now. There are so many unions out there such as RCN, GMB, UNICAF, and so many of them. Make sure you have a support in place. If this video was helpful to you in any way, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, and share to a friend. And don't forget to come back for more.